from Randall Holcomb. We're about to get into it with RBIS and Simple Tankers for a match of two teams that are about even in stakes right now.
Yeah, tied up in 4th place. As always, please follow us on Twitter at WGLNA.com, Facebook.com/WGLNA, or at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA, hashtag WGLNA. It's all WGLNA. Make sure to send us your tweets so we can put them up on the broadcast. Big shout out to Airwax and the rest of the people that have been tweeting at us as well. And also, question of the day.
Yeah, of course. We've got which underdog is going to come out and upset their opponent tonight. And of course, tell us why. Why is one of the most important things. Because you can tell us your opinions, but you got to back that stuff up.
Do you consider RBIS the underdog against Simple Tankers tonight?
No. I definitely consider Simple Tankers to be an underdog in this situation. I think RBIS, with their performance at the end of last season and their ability to... they say this all the time that they don't practice. They say it.
Okay.
I don't
RBIS
quite believe
says it.
RBIS claims that they don't practice.
I know that's not true for Simple Tankers. I know they practice.
They practice very well, very hard, and I have gotten to sit on a few of those in the past, and I like the way they work, their workflow.
Yeah.
The way they effectively go through maps, experiment, try and figure things out. It shows they have that ability to study their opponent and study the game very well in case something new comes out. We've got the 9.5 patch. With that, you've brought some new tanks. You've brought some changes to the game, especially the mini-map, I think is one of the most important ones when I asked players about it. What kind of effect is all of that going to have? And you're seeing, especially in the last battle, Roulette taking advantage of that with the mini-map a little bit. Could see, hopefully, some of the new tanks. Waiting for it.
Simple Tankers, their wins so far over Full Potato, Timed Out, and I Love Lamp. All new teams this season to the Gold League. Their loss was to the Cunninghams.
That was 2-5, right? Simple Tankers 2-5 the Cunninghams.
Yeah. So still 2 wins.
It was still a good battle though. Like that was one of the top of the show that I was talking.
Oh, definitely.
About.
No, definitely was. Definitely was. That is a consistent thing. Speaking of consistency, that's a consistent thing that we say about Simple Tankers. Probably every season that they've participated is that their battles are exciting to watch, and it's very true. They're a very highly skilled team, but the biggest issue that we keep seeing as commentators when we watch their matches is their brawls. A number of times they will not win the brawls. They will move in and take too much fire because of it. Therefore, in a weakened position where they're going toe-to-toe with their opponents. Yet when they would take a step back and take a breather and fire from a distance, get a couple more shots in here and there, and then push in, they would overtake their opponent.
And with that, I also noticed that later in a series, they tend to not perform as well as early on. They start strong, and they stay strong throughout the whole series, or they start strong and it falls off. And that's where you see them lose every single time, which is why they give such exciting, close matches.
Yeah. Yes, they do. We're going to have a face-off between our 2 team representatives in just a little bit here. But talking more about RBIS, a team that surprised everyone last season based on their performance. 4th place, taking home some serious money as well. A little bit of roster changes, not a whole lot.
But the core is still there. The important people are still there. The high performers are all there. And they're just getting better, better, and better with every match.
Yes, they are. Let's go ahead and jump into our face-off with our 2 team representatives from RBIS and Simple Tankers. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
Good evening, Clutch.
All right, let's start with Jackie Rudo, also known as Amanda Hug and Kiss from RBIS. We'll call you Amanda Hug and Kiss. Currently in 4th place, Jackie. What did your team do over the break to prepare for tonight's match?
Our team, kind of half of them went on vacation, and the other half started playing another game that I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
But overall, we just we enjoyed our break, and we took the time off, necessary time off, and relaxed. Had a good holiday.
So tell me about the last series when the caller was not present. Who showed up to call for your team?
I assume the one that you're talking about is against the top tier where Precam didn't show up.
Yeah.
That was Ox Mathis stepped up and started calling for the team. Unfortunately, it was just kind of a new thing, and we just didn't perform as well as we thought we would.
I actually kind of want to. This will change gears a little bit, but real quick, I wanted to catch up. How's balancing playing as much as you have with studying for your MCAT?
I was not actually planning to play today, but I was actually asked very nicely to play because of certain personal obligations. As you see, back there is all my books, and I have my books right here. I was studying before this as well. So just taking out, a couple of hours every week to play is not terrible, but yeah, it's okay.
All right, man. Well, we always appreciate you playing. Good to see your face, and good luck.
Good to see you again.
Let's check in with your opponent, Kraft Lawrence from Simple Tankers.
Hello.
All right, you are currently tied in 4th place, but that loss against the Cunninghams was tough on you guys. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, we needed to work on some things. I think we fixed some kinks later against I Love Lamp, so, we'll take it as it is.
Now, tonight, the 2 maps are Prohorovka and Steps. No Murovanka tonight. A little bit disappointed about that?
No, I mean, we expect there to be no Murovanka. I mean, in their battle history, RBIS has never played Murovanka or Ruinberg, so they banned those 2 maps.
All right. Well, Kraft Lawrence, do you have any words for your opponents before we start?
No, good luck, and have fun.
Okay. Man, a hug, a kiss, a.k.a. Jackie Rito, any words?
No, we're very excited to fight you guys, and we hope to beat Pub Whisper in distance traveled as always, and good luck.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck. We'll see you on the battlefield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's not possible.
It's not possible?
You can't beat Pub Whisperer.
Distance traveled?
He travels always.
So when his team wins, he just goes around the map.
No. Here's what you do. When you're sitting there and you're waiting, you just E, W, E, W, E, W, E, W, E, W, E, W. Really, really fast. But you just tap it so that you don't turn your reticle off. But then you get distance travel.
Oh, man.
Farm those points.
The secrets that you
Farm
learned.
those distance points.
Playing hours and hours upon World of Tanks. Betting now begins. Betting begins at the beginning of every single battle. Not just the matches, but every single battle. You can place your bets now in Twitch chat. If you have any questions, ask the people in chat. Badco, our moderator, will help you out, along with Dan. Actually, Shakes Morris, our social media correspondent. The top performers when it comes to points tonight will be on the leaderboard at WGLConnect.com. There you can check where you line up with tonight's betting. And one of those top performers will receive a prize. So make sure to place your bets. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's see who's going to take this series, Simple Tankers or RBIS. It's really anybody's game between these two teams. Simple Tankers has more of the veteran status, you could say. But let's take a look at those rosters, Randall, and see who's going to be playing tonight.
Of course. Neither team has made any roster changes during the break. They all had the opportunity to, but neither Simple Tankers or RBIS took advantage of it. They're confident in their lineups. Simple Tankers, RBIS, even though if you take a look at stats, sometimes you see some people really stepping out. I think that both teams understand that even though some of their players aren't putting up big numbers, they're doing exactly what they're expected to do. That's what's important. That's what I gathered from no roster changes from either of these guys.
Yeah, take a look also for Simple Tankers. Zach Kuhn, he has been a significant damage dealer throughout the 2 weeks that we've seen him play so far.
His entire career as a pro tanker, he's always put up good damage.
Yep. Well, here we go. Battle number 1 and match number 2 between RBIS and Simple Tankers is about to begin. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
This is curious. Simple Tankers is bringing 2 T69s, 3 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. I'm surprised by the 2 T69 choice, which tells me that there's something aggressive right off the bat coming out. They are on the attack this time, so they're the red team. RBIS on the blue has a T32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and they're going with that T37 strategy. So they're bringing more 8s, and they've got Amanda chilling out in that little tank.
Give you guys an update. Victoria's Secret versus Full Potato, now in tiebreaker mode right now.
Oh, 4-4.
Shot fired on the battlefield. Prohorovka here. Not sure if that connected.
No connections yet. Now we're seeing some connections, a little bit of damage done. Zakum moving way up to the middle rock, and he finds Amanda Hug and Kiss, taking some connections as I see guns going in his direction. Zakum needs to move forward into the left in order to avoid some of this fire, else we're going to see Simple Tankers drop a T69 for not nearly as much gain as it needs to get.
Executus backs up a little bit. Zach Kuhn still has over half HP.
He does. That's important, but T69s need as many hit points as they can because when they go into that engagement, they are going to take damage because of the amount of time they must stay exposed. They can't play those peekaboo games quite as easily or efficiently as other tanks can.
Gabriel Angelos now peeking over the corner, just above the hill, takes a shot for 272. Carbon Ward's going to try to cover him.
And Precam's down.
Precambrian goes down. Executives could be the next one. Executives could be the next one here, and he does fall. Sella gets that kill. Mi Amigo is a little bit low, less than half health in the 1390, but still trying to do as much damage as he can. Sella's going to pull back, and he's the next one to go down. 4 tanks remain for RBIS. 6 still alive for Simple Tankers here.
And now, Simple Tankers can focus fire this one the rest of the way. Gabriel, and almost simultaneously, as Kraft is going to keep going. This M41 doing so much damage, and now Angry White Guy, his battle buddy, is left to clean it up.
In a whirlwind of activity, it's 1 tank that remains. It's Ox Mathis, and he goes down. Simple Tankers like that puts the first point on the board on Prohorovka.
That's easy as it really was that easy. T-69s, you throw them out there in an aggressive opening move. You keep that engagement going, and those T-69s find something, and they just absolutely destroy it. Notice also, Ox Mathis was the last tank alive, and he is consistently one of the last tanks alive for his team, which I'm going to start paying more attention to.
Good thing or a bad thing?
That's what I don't know. I don't know because he does put up great numbers as far as damage, but we should pay attention to more than that. I think I'm going to start following him a little bit more from now on to see what is happening, and if I like it, if I don't, if it's something which is kind of midway, it has its pros and cons, it comes out sometimes and other times not, we'll see. But that's something I'm noticing as a trend evolving.
Yeah. And
I think it needs a little bit of attention to see what kind of an impact he's having on the battle.
All right, well, that does it for that first battle. That was quick. It was a whirlwind of activity, but just all around in the center section. I was looking for maybe some other patterns coming from RBIS with 2 of their tanks hanging back, but they noticed that with the trading fire in the center, everybody focus on the center. Let's see what happens. Oh no, Simple Tankers is now pushing in. That's kind of what I saw from RBIS.
It was good timing by Simple Tankers.
Yeah.
They recognized one of the possible counters was to go up and over into your opponent. You've got a lineup which performs better in a drawn-out brawl, but what you see Simple Tankers do is they capitalize on tanks not all being in exactly the same spot, being somewhat together, but that there was a bit of a hole in the group. The group wasn't entirely together, and they could take advantage of that.
Well, as we move into battle number 2, this is where the adjustment factor comes in for RBIS. They hang back more as the defenders, and that allows Simple Tankers to have more map control at the beginning, or do they favor the aggression and get closer to their flag caps and try to punish any movement or peeking around from Simple Tankers?
Yeah, and now I think back to Simple Tankers versus the Cunninghams, one of the matches that happened before the break. In that one, Simple Tankers did much the same. They look incredibly strong right off the bat. Yep. You know, first battle on this map is a win. Now we might see the trend come back where RBIS is going to be able to win the next 3, and then it'll be much like the Cunninghams match, or they can keep this momentum going and they'll carry it through to a very one-sided victory.
Hopefully not as one-sided as either team would diminish themselves because of it. Of course. Especially from the last series that we had. It was very, very close. Here we go, battle number 2 between RBIS and Simple Tankers. Simple Tankers is up 1-0.
And they will be on the attack. The red team, they bring a T-32, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. They're changing it up, something slightly slower, mirroring their opponent, RBIS, who have brought the same lineup.
Precambrian and Gabriel Angelos heading up into the center section to do the scouting run and then a pull back.
This is cute. In the southwest, we've got Tofu, Executus, Angry White Guy, and Pub Whisperer. 4 light tanks clustered just behind the hill in a position that their opponent must get so close. They have to approach in such a way that the escape route is incredibly dangerous. Chances are they won't opt for a route which they can drop into a defilade or anything. A defilade being a low ground. Kind of what we see Tofu, Executus, and Angry White Guy in. So I think this could be a trap which it has the possibility of working. I've seen it in previous seasons succeed and fail. It's a time will tell kind of a thing.
Carbon Ward, Amanda Hug and Kiss up in the northern section along with Mi Amigo and Ox Mathis. Firing towards Unknown One twice. Well, you know, it's more blind fire into the bushes coming from the 1390 and the RU-251.
Yeah, I don't think they see him. There's nothing that could spot him. And his position is probably one of the more exposed on the top of the hill. However, he's so out of range of any of his opponents that any fire he puts out, you're not going to figure out quite where it came from.
Executus takes down Precambrian.
Oh my. That was
That was quick.
Yeah. Executus being all the way in the southwest. That trap didn't work quite in the way that I expected it to come to fruition, but I mean, like, take what you can get.
It worked.
Oh, but the reaction from RBIS, they recognize what exactly just happened. They recognized there were tanks in the southwest, and that was a firing squad. Now they're moving in. Wallhack's completely outmatched. Kraft Lawrence is going to be able to come in, and there is cover fire from Unknown One, but Wallhack's cannot hold this off, and he will not survive for long.
That was fast. RBIS is able to trade Precambrian for Wallhacks, and that's an up trade for RBIS. They are slightly ahead in HP, very slightly.
But think about the autoloaders. The 1390s are a little bit down on their loads as everyone else from Simple Tankers is coming on in. Executus leading the way.
And this is a return fire in that center. They have to be careful because Gabriel Angelos and Cello are in great positions to punish the movement coming from Simple Tankers. Executus very, very low as they continue to fire against him. Ox Mathis falls. Unknown One is taken down by Amanda Hug and Kiss. Mi Amigo now surrounded by Simple Tankers. It's turning into overmatch over overmatch against overmatch. These different sections. Kraft Lawrence then falls. It's 4 against 3 Simple Tankers at the disadvantage, but they could turn around if they're able to focus on one of these tanks that has less HP, like Gabriel Angelos and the Walker Bulldog. One more shot, he'll go down. It's 3-on-3. Carbon War in the RE-251 trying to get behind Pub Whisperer here. Tofu Smurf going through the villages. Carbon Ward is low, 249 in that last shot. Tofu Smurf and Angry White Guy still on the move. Amanda Huggins moving in. Tofu Smurf focusing on the 1390. Can he get the next shot? He's going to be low. Tofu is low. He missed. That's not good. Tofu's he's in a bad situation. Pub Whisper falls 2 against 3.
They needed him. They needed the autoloader, and now Tofu down as well. Angry White Guy is looking at a situation where he has to deal 1,817 hit points. Not
impossible, but improbable.
But yeah, highly improbable that Angry White Guy is going to be able to take this one. But we can look at what Simple Tankers did right and what RBIS did right as well. RBIS, recognizing that their opponent in the southwest had grouped tanks up in such a manner to catch one of their tanks out and just obliterate it with a single volley. They did just that. Simple Tankers then recognizes that RBIS now has that information, they have that knowledge, and therefore they need to move. They need to regroup because they have tanks on the opposite side of the map completely out of their range of support. They have to move, and thus they do. But they arrive just a little bit too late after Wallhex goes down. Timing could have been better for Simple Tankers because when they went into that brawl, I also felt they didn't land on a target soon enough.
Yep, that is a constant theme with them. Is their approaches to brawls are not their most effective type of engagement. And that's going to be a win for RBIS.
As Huggins throws himself off a cliff.
Aw, man, come on.
It was cute. It was adorable.
That was a lot of different spaces in a short amount of time where these engagements were happening, where it was 3 against 1, 3 against 2, then 2 against 3, happening in all these different sections. How do you, as a team member, command all these different battles that are going on, or do you have to rest on the laurels of your
You have to lean on your teammates. You can't command every single engagement. You have to understand your players need to be able to focus fire. Simple Tankers does that very well. They focus fire exceptionally well. They get a lot of their shots out. Not all of them all the time. You can't expect 100%, but very close to connecting all of their shells. Problem with that engagement was more so that when they went in, they go in blind in a way. They don't have the spotting they need. They don't have the advantageous position because they're attacking on the move. So they have to pick. They have to pick a direction, and they have to pick one of the tanks that they see. Unfortunately for them, they kind of ran a small gauntlet on their way to their first target.
Yeah.
And I think that's where hit points started to go in favor of RBIS, and they started to get the momentum and control that they needed over that fight.
So now it's time to move on from here, as it's going to be a flip from attack to defense, where Simple Tankers will be on the defense, and their opponents, RBIS, will be on the attack. And this is where I think it's going to get difficult for RBIS, because trying to break against the defensive Simple Tankers, who do not play as turtley as other teams or as predictable on the defensive side as other teams, Where does RBIS go from here? Do they stick to an approach similar to moving in the center section and scouting and then going from there? Or is it more control on the railroad tracks and using more of the east side of the village?
That's the question that Simple Tankers needs to answer, because they are known for not playing defensively. Should they play defensively because they're not known for it? Play the head game. So now we're getting into the meta discussion, which can go forever and ever.
It really can. But a better way is to watch it unfold in front of us, which we're going to do in about 10 seconds. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Would you look at that? A tanks game, Josh. Wow. Thank you for this wonderful surprise.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. 2 T-32s, Pershing 1390, 2 RU-251s, and a T-37 for Simple Tankers. They are now, as you said, the defenders, the blue team. The attackers, the red team, RBIS T-32, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and they're going to go with the M41 Walker Bulldogs to finish out that lineup. Opening moves is a blitz towards the middle, Tofu, 3 light tanks, actually 2 light tanks and a medium in tow, and a hit squad going right up and over to take control of the east from RBIS.
Carbon Wardox, Mathis, Gabriel Angelos, Amanda Hugginkiss. Moving on this eastern side is a 2 tanks behind him, Pre-Cambrian Mi Amigo. Staying back here as they're announcing their eastern approach by putting one of the tanks on the flag cap.
This is not an unfamiliar strategy. This is something we've seen before, even something we've seen before from Simple Tankers.
But I really like it because it's starting to force the hand of RBIS, and because of that, the T-32 is already down 786 hit points. Carbon Ward fires back into wall hacks, but the shot actually comes from Gabriel Angelos in the Walker Bulldog.
Yeah, and now Angry White Guy must take on Sella, Mi Amigo, and fire coming from his rear. Wall hacks, taking hits from way down south. This is a confusing situation to be in where you're going to be pressured, taking damage very slowly as the cap is winding up. It's going to force Simple Tankers into an attacking stance. They need to get their light tanks in position. Where's Kraft Lawrence? Where's Executus? They needed to be at the train tracks 30 seconds ago. And now they're going to have to jump on Sella while stopping the cap. This is going to split the forces of Simple Tankers and make this a very difficult fight for them. RBIS has the ability to make the right choice, even though they've just lost Sella.
Tofu Smurf was able to get that kill. Carbon Ward going to focus on wall hacks. There goes the M26 Pershing. Pub Whisper in the 1390 trying to deal as much damage as he can against these other tanks. But now they can move in and get the overmatch. The M41 Bulldog's going to fire behind the 1390.
But look at this body blocking. Mi Amigo's going for Zakum, but he just can't. Angry White Guy is doing too good of a job, and because of that, bouncing shells, keeping Zakum alive, keeping that gun in the game.
2 tanks down for both sides here, as Simple Tankers has left the flag cap area, but the amount of traded fires going in favor of RBIS. Simple Tankers.
That hurts.
Has to fall back.
Losing both T-32s at one time.
That really hurts. RBIS really have that northern position locked down with the railroad tracks, and now they're going to place their tanks on the flag cap as Simple Tankers, as the defenders, as the blue side has to reassess where to approach, where to split their tanks, and where to focus on RBIS's position here. Tofu Smurf and Kraft Lawrence now moving.
Executus just a little bit behind. Does he have a damaged engine? No, he appears to be in good order. I thought maybe he was damaged. That would have been... That would have just added insult to injury right then.
He's got Brad Pitt's crew inside the tank. They're screaming, best job I ever had.
Isn't it a German tank?
They took over the German tank. Plot holes.
Boom, storyline.
All right, here we go. It's a sequel. 1 more second left. Flag cap is captured, and they're able to do it as they fire upon Tofu Smurf, who tries to push through. Well done by RBIS. They dictated what was happening in that battle.
Completely, I agree. The opening move put them in control. From there, they got their crossfires in order, started putting a little damage here and there, and just like that, Simple Tankers was just not able to get control. However, we have the body block from Angry White Guy. This is just one of the things I live for to see. Perfect execution of it. Angry White Guy, Zakum playing together as 2 T-32s with everyone else on the team just keeping him alive. That's it. That's the example right there.
That's teamwork. That is teamwork. Put it on a wall as a poster in your cubicle, and people around you will be inspired.
and like the white words on top and on the bottom.
Yeah. Just says,
teamwork.
Believe.
Your friends won't die.
That's a good way to put it. We're going to move into the next battle number 4. Last battle on Pro Heroica between these two teams. Simple Tankers. All right, so
this is something I talked about earlier.
It was. But I want to bring up that eastern side, right?
Okay.
Deciding, okay, do they go for the center section of the west, or do they go for the village? Well, they had the village completely open, RBIS. Simple Tankers had no real presence there on the village side. And so it was that call that RBIS made that was the right call to make of if they're going to be poking around on the western side or the center of the map, we're going to take the village, and they did, and they won. But what were we going to say?
I was going to say this is the kind of a match that I felt like I predicted with Simple Tankers taking the first battle, and now RBIS is going to take the next 3. Then, new map, Simple Tankers is going to win it again. RBIS takes the ones after that. This is Simple Tankers not getting the momentum that they usually depend on for their victories.
Well, anything's possible as we move into battle number 4. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
All right, T-32s, 2 of them, and a Pershing for Simple Tankers with a 1390, 2 RU-251s, and that T-37, Kraft Lawrence. RBIS, now, well, I should say still attacking. T-32s, 2 1390s, 2 RUs, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. I feel like maybe I'm over-predicting or something with the series. Over-predicting, like I'm too confident in this prediction, but if it comes true, this is something that we see a lot out of Simple Tankers. They do very well early on in a series, early on a map, but their opponents tend to, especially the higher level ones, tend to react very well after that first win and are able to rebound, whereas many other tanks lose a little bit of heart. They get a little bit scared or they get a little bit shaken.
Simple Tankers is taking a little bit of damage right now as Gabriel Angelos and Precambrian are getting lit up. Precambrian gets another hit for 247, but they're returning fire against Executus in the northern section of the map. One more shot and he will fall. But Gabriel, Oxmathis, Mi Amigo, and Precambrian have got to make the decision to flee or to stay and fight. Sella and the T-32 trying to cover, but Precambrian goes down in a fiery ball of death. Carbon Warren, Oxmathis took a little bit of damage in that firefight as well. And RBIS down a tank from Simple Tankers.
Yeah, and quite a lot of hit points. 5,700 against 7,100 for Simple Tankers. There is a flank coming in. RBIS is just moving their light tanks up so they can begin getting that fire in there onto Zakum. But the reaction should be obvious from Simple Tankers. A push up, nice stop on the east with a push on over onto Sella maybe. Could work this out, but Wallhack's Angry White Guy and Zakum need to get into better positions at this point.
Gabriel Angelos and Oxmathis are in a potential flank for any of those tanks pushing up like those T-32s, but do they have the angle? Looks like they do. 2 shots fired. One of them hit against a T-32.
Here comes Pub. That distance traveled.
And Tofu Smurf now pushing up against Sella. Pub Whisperer takes down Amanda Hug and Kiss. Tofu Smurf getting behind Sella. This is some revenge fire coming from Simple Tankers to take down RBIS. Executive still alive way back with RU-251. Angry White Guy takes down Sella. Now Gabriel Angelos and the rest of his teammates from RBIS are going to push up against Wallhacks.
RBIS is not in an ideal situation. They're walking right into the middle of their opponent's position, just right into the heart towards Wallhacks, and they will be able to focus fire him down, but Simple Tankers needs to get this support fire in here. Tofu, Pub, all need to get in here and start their focus. Tofu onto Mi Amigo gets the connection and the kill, putting that a little bit back, but now the hit points are getting so close.
Tofu trying to get away from Carbon Ward, but he goes down. Pub Whisper backing away from Gabriel Angelos. Executus lands a shot against Oxmathis. Kraft Lawrence lands a hit against Gabriel Angelos on the run. Trading fire back and forth goes in favor of Simple Tankers as they tie up the series 2-2 in Pro Heroica. That was a skirmish firefight if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that
back
was,
and forth.
Yeah, completely crazy. No team was able to quite get that lead that they needed. They got something, but it wasn't quite enough, I felt. And it started going back and forth. Then Simple Tankers got those hit points.
Yeah.
That first kill, those hit points that come with it, that amount of that advantage you have to work with, right?
The advantage, yes, but the question is, are both teams playing too loosely on the battlefield?
They certainly do play loose. I think that's a great way to describe the play styles of Simple Tankers and RBIS. It's not so tight and rigid. It is loose, flexible, and you can see how the two of them are are fighting right now.
Yeah.
You're seeing that it's highly mobile at times. You're seeing decisive action when it needs to. But there are, of course, occasions when it's a little bit too late. For example, with RBIS here, this is their last charge, as it were.
Well, that comes down to the question of flexibility versus restraint in a sense of staying together instead of fanning out. And
okay,
the benefits are so exponentially better on open maps when you're able to fan out, flank, get behind, and really utilize mobility, as Simple Takers does very, very well. Now we move into steps where it's still an open map. Mobility is definitely there, but it's a little bit more stagnant in a sense because of that Eastern Valley.
I know what you're talking
against
about.
Prorivka. You know, Prorivka, I feel like, oh, it's a more open battlefield in the center if they cut the railroad tracks away and then boom.
No, there's always an option
Yeah.
on Prorivka. On steps, there doesn't feel to be
Not
an
as big of an option.
Yeah, you don't have immediate reactions to a situation. You can't immediately go up and over the hill when you see something.
Yeah.
You have to go around the long way. I see where you're going with it, yeah.
All right, well, as we move into battle number 5 on steps, we have a tied series. Kind of a repeat of what happened in the first match, but we'll see who's going to take the lead here after this battle. What do we have for tanks?
All right, 2 T-32s, 1390 RU-251s, 2 of them, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. That's on Simple Tanker's side. They're the red team and attacking. Blue team defending, T-32, just one of them. Just one.
Just one.
Just one. I'm just saying.
That's all you need.
I mean, Simple Tankers brought 2. 2 of them.
Well,
That's 100% more T-32.
when Na'Vi lost against Lemming Train, it was 3 T-32s from Lemming Train.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you don't know who Na'Vi is the #1 team in World of Tanks. They play on the Russian server.
Russian League. And, well, they're consistently the best team in World of Tanks. Well, if they lose to 3 T-32s, I mean, what hope does RBIS have against 2 of them?
It's a fun memory.
Yeah, T-32 jokes. All right, opening moves real quick, just to go over them. Looks like Simple Tankers is going to use those T-32s to lead the way. And because there's no artillery, they're going to be able to use these rather freely, I think. Move forward, find your hull downs, and shoot away.
Fire away.
Yeah.
Amigo, Celox, Mathis, Carbon Ward, hanging around northern side.
And here's a little move from Simple Tankers. They're going to take their light tanks, their flexible fast tanks. Far to the south, there's a lot of tree cover between them and whatever targets may be spotted. T-32s will move forward. That's Wallhacks and Zakum. Find a target. Hopefully, they find one exposed enough that Pub and Executives can engage and make some connecting shots. With that damage being dealt, and Simple Tankers then able to move up because their opponent must retreat. That's the idea with the strategy they're going for right now. Wallhacks is going to go up alone, actually. They're going to take a smaller risk. Put only 1 T-32 forward in a position he can't retreat from. Not 2 of them. And as he moves up, let's see if anything is going to come of it.
Pre-cambered in the T-37 now, cruising down to the south.
Precam may have been spotted for a moment, but he escapes because, actually, that is a really solid scout run.
Yeah.
It just was. It was not bad.
It was tactfully done. Shots fired towards Wallhacks. One did connect. Another one connects. A little peppering of a hey, how you doing? Coming from Amanda Hugginkiss in that 1390. Long range, not the most accurate tank for long range, the AMX 1390, but good enough. So land a couple hits, gets that T-32.
And it puts Arbis right in the lead as far as hit points. Now, Simple Tankers has decided to alter their strategy, and they're sending their light tanks to the south. Tofu's going to lead the way, and you're going to see a little choo-choo train of death right behind him as they're going to be able to take control of the northwest cap. Now, Arbis has decided not to control it. It's generally a safer opening to go with. But you're going to have an attack on 2 fronts. Light tanks moving in from the northwest, and potentially a slightly southwest attack from Zakum and Wallhacks and those T-32s. This could work out rather well, but if Arbis recognizes the positioning of Simple Tankers, they could have the proper reaction, the proper strategy just right there that they could execute on, but I don't think they're getting the spotting they need.
Time's ticking away for Simple Tankers. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. A very high concentrated defensive position coming out from RBIS. But look at this. The trigger is being pulled. The Simple Tankers is moving across the battlefield, trying to guard one of their weaker tanks, Pub Whisperer, who took a hit. Another shot fired against Executives. Those are some free hits. This time of that kind of that brawl type engagement, though, is they take too much damage trying to cross the plains. But maybe they can get some good flanks in this firefight.
It's just too costly. Simple Tankers is losing hit points far faster than they're able to deal them. They are able to get the first kill, yes, but they lose Craft Lawrence at the exact same time. Now everyone is getting just peppered all over, and there's enough consistent fire on RBIS that they're going to be able to get the momentum.
Carbon Ward falls to Tofu. Gabriel Angelos could be the next one down. Pub Whisper still with enough HP in that 1390. It's going to be how many shells he has left to determine how dangerous he'll be in a matter of seconds. Sakum, the T-32, pushing up against him. Wallhacks gets a kill against Sella. 4 on 4. But Wallhacks is very low in that T-32, but guess who else is low? Gabriel Angelos, and Executives wants to punish him for it. One shot, he could get it. Gabriel Angelos misses a shot against Executives, but he gets it on the run and uses the dead tank husk to block himself from Amigo in case he had a shot. Executives, however, gets tracked. Mana Huggikiss is pushing forward in the 1390. Ox Mathis not able to get the kill, but one more shot and Executives will fall. He gets a shot on the move against Amanda Huggikiss, trying to stay away from Ox Mathis. Pub Whisperer gets the kill, but Ox Mathis cleans it up. 2 against 2.
Amanda had so much potential in that fight, but it just did not get the connections needed. And now we're seeing this a little bit hairier than it should have been.
It's up to Zakum, who's going to take a big hit from behind, and he knows Ox Mathis is right in front of him. Oh, 2 more shots and the T-32 could fall. And they're dancing around each other here. One more hit. Zakum will go down. Ox Mathis tries to get behind him. Zakum's able to land the shot, and that's it. RBIS takes the lead, 3-2 against Simple Tankers as the defenders.
I think that win is very important for one fact being Simple Tankers often wins the first battle in a map. Very often we see them come out strong. In this instance, they did not, which is curious to me, and I think would speak to the way this will go, because that's something I want to focus on with Simple Tankers, is how their series pan out as far as their successes and failures.
Look for patterns that are happening. Well, this is a bit of a constant pattern that is happening, Randall, is that Simple Tankers will push up into battles that they take way too much damage before they even fire the first shot.
Yeah, their strategy, you saw how they attempted to get a lead early on. The T-32s moving up with the firing squad, way back sniping. They've done that also in Prohorovka. When they attempted it here today, they didn't get any real advantages. In fact, they lost some hit points for it.
Yeah.
I think that was where it didn't work, because we see them succeed when those kinds of tactics come out and work. When they get that early sniping damage that you talk about a lot. When they get that, success. When they don't, it seems like they go into those fights we're talking about that they don't have enough of an advantage or anything really to guarantee victory, to increase their chances of victory.
Well, the increased chances of victory is taking a step back, taking a breath, resetting as they move into battle number 6 here, and try to recognize the bait and switch, the pulling and the pulling, the long-range fire, the fake skirmishes of 2 tanks to the south. Open that up a little bit more. Use the time now. Don't wait 2 minutes in until you start unleashing these type of tactics. Do it now at the very beginning, and I think that's what's going to make a difference. Here we go. As we jump to the battle, what do we have for tanks, Rand?
All right, so 2 T-32s, 1390, 2 RU-251s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs, and Simple Tankers attacking. Defending, Arbis, a single T-32, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and that T-37 played by Pre-Cam. Okay.
Opening movement coming from Arbis.
This opening move for Simple Tankers, I'm thinking is going to be 2-part attack, because you're seeing Wallhack Zakum move east, but the rest of the light tanks all moving west. So we could have something very similar to what was last battle, in that you saw a west side attack from all of the light tanks while the T-32s moved in from the south.
Yeah.
What this can also be is, okay, those T-32s aren't going fully east, they're going up the middle road, and they're going to time it with their light tanks, Tofu Smurf and Executus, Angry White Guy and Craft Lawrence, to catch any tanks that would be in the west. This is their move, another attempt to gain an advantage with coordination, timing, things that we see consistently in their attempts to find success. And this would work if there were any tanks out here. But unfortunately,
that's the one element you need for this to be effective.
It's a coin flip. You can't predict with 100% certainty where your opponent's going to go. They could have gone to the west. They could have tried to do that blitz, and it wouldn't have worked out very well for RBIS unless they had a more mobile lineup, something without a T-32 in it.
True enough.
But looks like it's going to turn into a west versus east, where maybe some cap pressure comes out from Tofu, and we see hull-down games. Zelda's going to try and get some spotting, and it's up to RBIS to handle the situation well.
Well, Cell's going to hold in the T-32, firing towards that flag cap. Still blind fire coming from the T-32, but what is the rest of the position of RBIS here? Okay, Precambrian, Oxmathis, Miamigo, and Gabriel Angelos dancing back and forth in the Eastern Valley. They're trying to see if this is a trick from Simple Tankers. No commitment yet with 1:36 seconds. But what's tricky is that, like, oh, we have 1:35 seconds. We're fine. Well, as soon as another tank jumps on that, that's gone. You have, at most, maybe 45 seconds that happens. 30 seconds, maybe.
Yeah. That's how it's going to end up working out if they throw another tank on. But you can see the blind fire coming in. If a tank is spotted on cap, it's an easy shot. Anywhere in that eastern position, Sela can get the connections he needs, and he does take a little bit of damage now. But he's still able to defend. T-32, excellent hull-down tank. Good view range, just not quite far enough to see the cap. The distance is just barely far enough.
Shots back and forth. RBIS not able to land anything against Angry White Guy or Executus, but now they're moving across the battlefield. 20 up, now 15 seconds. Oh, looks like a reset happened.
And surprise, surprise, Zakum has discovered all of these light tanks, and he's going to begin wishing he didn't, as two 1390s and a Waff and a Strompanzer are going to move in on his position. Support is on the way, but there's enough time for RBIS to get a little bit of an advantage and a little momentum in this fight as they take down the first tank.
And they get that with Zakum. Kraft Lawrence is very low, but so's Amanda Huggikiss in that 1390. Oxmathis takes down Kraft Lawrence. Executus less than half health, pushing up in the RU-251. He goes down. Gabriel Angelos now from behind with your focus on wall hacks or Angry White Guy in the Walker Bulldog. Angry White Guy takes down Precambrian.
And now Miamigo is the next target. Looks like he's going to barely be alive for...
And he goes down. Nope, couldn't make it out of there. Pub Whisperer, very, very low on Simple Tanker's side. He's the next one to go down. RBIS is finding these low tanks, holding their shots for a couple seconds longer, and then getting those kills. That is working out for them in the end here. Wallhack's next one to go down. Or Tofu Smurf, possibly. It's Tofu. Wallhack's next. Angry White Guy last alive on the run. 3 minutes and 3 seconds left. RBIS is looking good as the defenders on this map, Randall.
That was... I certainly agree. That was a good defense. That was well-timed. And it worked out to their advantage. They were able to catch a tank out in their path to the cap.
Angry White Guy took down Amanda Huggikiss just in time, however. He goes down, and RBIS is up 4-2 against Simple Tankers. One battle away from taking the series.
I'm impressed. I feel like this is normal for Simple Tankers in a way.
Sure.
Not normal in a good way, but normal in a this is the mistake this is the kind of quirk that they have, because it's not that they're making these horrible decisions, it's that their opponent's just making much better decisions. Because at this level of play, everyone's making strong tactical plays. However, you have this incredibly high ceiling for your potential strategies. And RBIS is making good timings. Shots are connecting. You talked about their focus fire and their ability to destroy targets rather than leave them alive. I think that was probably one of the most important points about this fight in particular.
This type of mentality coming from Simple Tankers, I think, is defeating them. I think they're losing the mind games themselves of, oh, nothing we're doing is working right now. To get out of that, that's one of the hardest things to do as a team. Everything we're trying to do is not working. It's not working. It's not working. I don't know what the solution for them is right now as we switch sides here for the defense, except to play as best as you can on the defensive side.
What about this kind of a statement? Play your game.
Okay.
Simple Tankers, just play your game.
Okay.
They like to switch things up a lot. They like to do unique, creative strategies, but there are strategies which work for them. But
yeah,
there's a lot of arguments about this. But
all right, audience, Randall and I are not counting out Simple Tankers. We're simply looking at the patterns and trying to figure out what's happening in this game, because it seems that everything that they're trying to do is just getting shut down by RBIS. But I cannot tell yet, so we'll have to go back and watch these, if it's RBIS's execution or if it's more of Simple Tankers making the mistake.
And it's hard to tell the difference between those sometimes, because you'll see a move and something doesn't stand out as necessarily a mistake because it can be a very common position.
Yes.
It's just, it's a very delicate balance between a mistake and simply a normal, everyday, solid, smart, well-informed decision.
Series is not over yet as we move into the next battle. Simple Tankers is down 2-4 against RBIS. The map is still steps. What do we have for tanks?
All right, for tanks, we got 2 T-32s, 3 RU-251s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Simple Tankers, so changing it up a little bit again. And RBIS is going to be changing it up as well, bringing in Object 416, something we don't get to see very often, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and that single T-37 played by Pre-Cam.
Even though we're in week 3, this is a lot on the line for both these teams. They're tied for 4th place currently in the standings.
We'll see who comes out ahead. Right now, it's looking like RBIS, though. And with the performances last season, this would be the predictable outcome as RBIS placed higher.
Yes, based on last season alone, yes. That is very true.
So with that, you can actually say Simple Tankers has improved quite a bit, because they are making a real match for RBIS. At times, this does look rather difficult. Some of the endings of these, even if they are a loss, I should say, sorry, for Simple Tankers, they're making a lot of smart decisions and still bringing it to them.
True. Kraft Lawrence takes a hit earlier on, though.
That didn't need to happen.
Side of Simple Tankers. Another shot coming from Carbon Ward, Precambrian, and Amigo in their section. That one did not connect.
Yeah, at this range, I mean, you can't depend on it, especially with the hull downs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard shot to make.
Shot fired towards Sella. That's a miss. And more blind shots coming from Simple Tankers.
And this Pub Whisperer trying to put it into one of the typical bush positions. At this point, these players are beginning to learn those angles.
Yes.
That you don't get to experience when you're not in the assault mode. When you're not in attack defense, there's angles and hills on steps which don't become important. You don't end up fighting an east-west kind of a situation like this in a normal steps battle when you have 2 caps. Something most pub battles you get to see.
True.
But here, there's the hills, especially the ones that we're looking at right now in the west, which, if you're at just the right angle, you can have just the right hull down, or you can get in the bush a certain way so that you can't be spotted when firing. All these little things that you don't get to see very often in normal pub play, we get to explore in this format in 754, which it's interesting because the positions that you have in the west aren't that bad. They're hull downs, they vary in their position and their distance from your opponent. You have a lot of options, and even though your opponent has this nice ridge to hull down behind, they don't have the varying positions to hull down in to throw your opponent off.
Yeah, and those varying positions are what can make or break an engagement, especially when you can turret break, when you can pull attention away from a certain area, allowing movement into another one.
Exactly. And now the flank is going to begin moving in. We've got the T-32s, Wallhacks, Zakum, from the northeast, and then from the southwest, we'll be having Angry White Guy with Executus and Tovu Smurf. 45 seconds on the cap, and they oh wow, with this, they should be able to pick up pre-cam and then perhaps roll on into Amanda, but the overmatch onto the T-32s could throw this into the favor of RBIS with control of the map.
Possibly. It depends on how long these T-32s can stay alive. Zakum, not for long. Boom, there he goes. Wallhacks is the next target for RBIS, and they take him down. That's 2 tanks down for Simple Tankers.
That was like 15 seconds?
Less than that, probably. Kraft Lawrence and the M41 Bulldog will see the 3 tanks in that position. Amanda Hugginkiss and the Object 416 taking significant damage up north. It does not fall yet, as Kraft Lawrence is the next tank to go down. 4 tanks against 6 in favor of RBIS.
Huge lead, but hit points a little bit closer than you'd think. There's a potential for Simple Tankers to take this back if they can make their focus fire work. However, the number of tanks alive for RBIS is enough of an advantage that I think they can.
The damage.
They can finish this one out.
Damage they can deal. Gabriel Angelos takes a hit for 249. Fire is being traded back and forth. Is it 251s? Are going to push in to punish Gabriel Angelos, but me and Migo swinging in from behind. They see Pub Whisperer. They take down Pub Whisperer. Executus now on the run. Barely any HP left. He does take down Gabriel Angelos just in time before he falls. Those are 4 tanks against 2.
Look at the hit points. You've got 2,000 left. Angry White Guy, being an auto loader, can deal enough damage. Sella is the target he does not want to find right now, though. Sella needs to be taken out quickly or just avoided altogether. He has hit points. He's a dangerous tank. 2 shells will kill Angry White Guy, potentially 1, depending on the shells fired by Sella.
Well, Angry White Guy is able to land 1 hit against Sella, who's on the chase, and they're on the move. Tofu Smurf, all he has to do is stay alive for 1 minute and 43 seconds, but Ox Mathis is going to try to cut him off in that 1390.
Ooh, Ox Mathis is 1390.
Oh, nice shot from Sella. Went for the farther target, the more dangerous target.
1390 is going to finish this. Ox Mathis staying alive, has the damage, has the burst. Angry does not have any armor.
Angry White Guy with the last stand falls, and RBIS takes the series 5-2 against Simple Tankers.
I think that's about right.
Okay.
I think that's the way I can sum it up. Simple Tankers.
Analytical predictions, sure.
Yes. From what we see of Simple Tankers, they're a solid team, very skilled, but their ability to follow through against teams like RBIS, like Simp, or like the Cunninghams, is they perform well right on the first map or very early in the series. In this case, they won on Prohorovka Battle 1 and Prohorovka Battle 4. Prohorovka Battle 4 was curious for me. It was a battle win almost earlier than I expected because I would have expected that battle win to come on battle number 1 of Steps, which is Battle 5. So Simple Tankers threw me off with that win, but it was close. I felt like I was, a little within variation.
The prediction is accurate. It's an accurate prediction based on assessments of what's been happening with these teams compared to last season. We saw the thing that I always keep saying is these brawls, the beginning of these brawls for Simple Tankers do not go in their favor. They have got to weaken their opponent first before they push in. Now, if their opponent's slightly weaker than them, they do push in, great, they got it. I mean, we see awesome brawls coming from them. But when they do this, it's almost like shooting from the hip, almost like a cold open of a brawl. It's just there's like no firing introduction. It's let's move in and get into position. We take a lot of damage, then we start fighting. We are already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, they move in, they don't get the advantages. When they do, they win.
Yeah.
But when they don't, it tends to go rather poorly. And that kind of a push only worked in older seasons, I feel, because opponents weren't expecting.
They weren't expecting it, but there's a silver lining to this, right? I'm not harping on Simple Tankers saying that, well, you shouldn't do this. No, they should do it, but they have to find a better approach, a more refined approach. If it's a timing, if it's using Artie to soften the opponent, that's a possibility as well. The outcome is not desirable, but the elements of what is beginning these type of assaults is right. It's right for them. It's their game. They're playing their game. Just have to refine a little bit more. RBIS looking strong, especially as the defenders, and having some good tactics to use that mobility against Simple Tankers.
Reactions.
Were very good reactions. I felt that they really studied up for this series.
Yeah, and timing. I felt like their timings were solid. Just spot on. They didn't wait too long most of the time.
Yeah.
They attacked early enough. They didn't hesitate. They made their decisions quickly, which you have to give credit to the caller and the rest of the team for recognizing when it's time to move.
Well, that does it for our second series of the night. We still have 2 more to go. The next one is Simp